So I'm with my friend Michael Goldberg, who I've known for better part of the last 3 decades, who is my go-to guy on all things networking. He does a lot of things with people in the financial services industry. He's a frequent speaker at events like the $1 Million Roundtable. I know for a fact that he practices what he preaches. He's written a book recently. It's a second edition of a book that's come out that I thought was a great book when it came out in its first edition, and he's improved it. But he's somebody that, again, is a go-to guy. Now, one of the things I have to ask, Michael, because we're sitting here, it looks to me like you're in an arena there. Where are you right now that we're talking?
Well, we're at ringside here, Ned. So brought to you by. At the end of the day, it's a fight to me. It's a grapple. When it's about business. This is day-to-day combat. Boxing like networking, right? It's about the connection, right? So I'm always ringside, ready for main event, keeping the left up and ready to make that next connection. And I'm glad that you're one of those connections, Ned. So thank you.
I appreciate it. So here's a boxing question. There's a great quote from Mike Tyson. Now, a lot of people don't know about Mike Tyson, but anybody that's in the fight game knows that Mike was a champion heavyweight, knocked out a lot of people. Now, the quote, I may get it a little bit wrong. He said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's right. Well, I think he said mouth, I think. So everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And Mike Tyson, by the way, my favorite boxer to date. In the news right now, they're talking about him making a comeback at 53 years old because he's sparring. And I think it's all hype. Who knows, right? But to get him and Holyfield back in the ring, he's in the news right now. But he retired 50-6, 50 wins, 6 losses. Of those 50 wins, 44 knockouts. And of those 44 knockouts, 28 were first-round knockouts. No one's ever done that. But everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Means that, it doesn't matter how prepared you are for a Mike Tyson fight. If you're going to get in the ring with him, as soon as he hits you, the plan is kind of like it's over. It doesn't make a difference. And I like to have that resonate with my message is that, after I do a training or a talk or a something, and I think it's the same thing in the banking world, is that we tend to punch ourselves in the mouth, right? We tend to take ourselves off plan because after we're finished with a training, after we're finished with advice, guidance, direction, we then get caught back up into our lives and how busy we are, and we kind of forget about it. So in essence, our apathy is really our punch in the face. So I actually use a lot of the Mike Tysonisms because it does relate so well to training and certainly to business.
So talk briefly about why today, in this crazy COVID-19 pandemic world, people in the financial services industry, bankers, need a plan when it comes to networking.
Without a doubt, because now a lot of people think the game is over. They're putting business on hold, and especially in banking, where I think it's less about business development and bringing on more clients because the funding is different. You're not in a position to create loans so much. So now the focus is mining your connections. So, and we were talking about this offline. It's not a question that networking has changed, but it's really in the manner that we're looking to mine our connections has changed. So it's no longer a lunch. It's no longer a one-on-one meeting per se over coffee. It's now what we're doing here. It's a Zoom meeting, right? So it was one of those or the old-fashioned way on the phone. So it's really having a plan of who is it that we need to be in touch with or reconnect with, and who do we need to speak with, and how are we going to get our meetings done? And what's cool about this, and I think that once this whole COVID thing lifts, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later, I think that people are going to be thrilled to be out and about and shaking a hand and kissing a baby and being in the same room with somebody. But I do think that will even level off because I think we realize how efficient meetings like this are. So I do see life being a hybrid of the regular coffee meetings, but I do see a lot of this kind of leveling off. So I think those that are in banking or really any industry that understands the value of how to leverage the technology and Zoom and LinkedIn, which we've had on our fingertips for years already, those are the ones that are going to really be talking about flattening the curve. Those are the ones that are going to be ahead of the curve, Ned, because once this thing lifts, you're going to want to look back and say, what did I accomplish? And if you're mining those connections, really you would have accomplished a lot, because if there's business not happening right now in banking, there's some, right? It's going to lift. And once that happens, you'll be in a much stronger place to have that happen.
Play this out a little bit with me, Michael. The use of video technology, the use of the phone, how does that change the approach that somebody who is trying to continue to support a network or build a network, how does it play into that?
Well, for one thing, we're having more Zoom meetings. We're leveraging LinkedIn more than we ever have, but it's really about having a process in place to be proactive about that. So it's having a plan, and I call it I have it around here somewhere, my daily fight plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my daily fight plan, I use this myself. Mm-hmm. This is what I do every single day in terms of generating more Zoom meetings like this, or more phone calls like this, or the opportunity to be able to deliver more webinars or more web-based learning or drive traffic to my online system. It's about being proactive in our languaging so we can get more meetings. And the networking piece comes from the fact that I'm not looking to get more meetings to sell more stuff. I'm looking to get more meetings so we can collaborate and figure out ways of helping one another, right? And that's the essence. So it's the languaging to make that happen. And it's everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Don't get punched in the mouth. Formulate an action plan so you know what you need to do every single day. So not only are you having more meetings, but you're having more of the right meetings. So in my mind, my niche market is financial services. That's pretty much all I work with. So I have a goal of looking to schedule at least 3 Zoom meetings with financial advisors or influencers in the financial space. So I'm not saying I'm booking 3 meetings every day, but I'm looking to book 3 meetings out where I get 3 on my calendar. So if I'm doing that and there's a focus on that, I'm finding that not only am I having an effective time booking them, but business is actually coming out of it. And I'm not even asking for the business. It's just because of the whole out of sight, out of mind thing, and having a system for being in front of the right people at the right time for the right reasons, good things are going to happen.
The discipline that you build in your daily fight plan involves reaching out to a certain number of people with the goal of trying to establish a next step, which might be another conversation on the phone or via Zoom.
Yeah, or whatever they might be looking for. So, I mean, I've been doing lots of webinars for big client firms. You know, some of them I do get paid for, some of them I don't, because not everybody's in a position to do that. But I'm in front of all of these advisors. I'm in front of my target market. And it's really because that I have taken a very definitive approach to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do to make that happen.
So you raise an interesting point, which I think is important for bankers. Importance of a target market, whether you're a small business banker or whether you're a large corporate banker or whether you're a private banker, it's really important to have a target market. Why is that important in networking?
Well, I define a target market as whom you serve best and therefore wish to serve most. It's where or what your ideal client is, or your ideal type of business is, right? And it's usually broken down, at least I like to break it down this way, in terms of industry, profession, market segment, niche, dynamic, demographic, geography. And the reason why, Ned, that's important with networking is because if you're really clear on who your target market is, you'll know, and here's my 1, 2, 3 punch, you'll know where you need to go, what you need to say, and with whom you need to say it, right? And that's now a networking equation. That's a networking 1, 2, 3 punch. So I know that my niche market is financial services. I do a lot of work in insurance, with private equity, some banking, like that's my space. But because I know that, and because at any given moment, I know exactly who I want my clients to be, I start to think about, and this is online and off, you know, where do I go? So are there LinkedIn groups that I need to visit? Right? Are there organizations that are meeting online? Are there professional associations I should be connecting with online? Where to go? What I need to say to potentially get a Zoom meeting or what have you. And then with whom? Like, who do I need to meet with and why would I be meeting with them? And what would that exchange look like? And again, it's not a sales pitch. It's a collaboration. So who do I need to collaborate with, you know, to talk about how we can help one another, how we can refer one another? And that's my party line. And who doesn't want to be a part of a meeting like that, where it's talking about how we can brainstorm and help each other, right? Different than a sales pitch. That's just a light sparring match is really what that is, you know?
Well, one of the things that you probably don't remember, I actually met you at an event It was for people who were trying to get better at networking. And for some reason, out of a group of 50 people, I was paired with you. I don't know whether, and I didn't know at the time what you did. And what I remember very distinctly was that you asked me a series of questions that were genuine questions that bowled me over. I said, oh my God, these are great questions, but they were focused not on trying to sell me anything. It was more in a very quick way to learn more about me, my business, so that you could help me. It was a basic principle that I think underlies the way you approach networking.
Yeah, well, that's right. And you ended up in my group, and bad luck for you, I guess, right? You could have ended up in a much better group.
No, I still remember it. So one of the things, this goes back to the time that we're in. You raised an interesting point. This is a crazy time for a lot of people, not just business owners, not just people in the financial services. It's crazy for everybody, but for bankers in particular, there's a reluctance on some parts to reach out to people, recognizing that their business customers, for example, might be going through a lot of trauma and stress. And the question becomes, should we be prospecting, for example, or should we be reaching out to accountants or attorneys to talk about what's going on? How would you answer that question?
I think it's loaded because now we're dealing with bankers, right? And people are looking for, for their funding, and they're applying for all kinds of loans or stimulus or this or that. So, banking has, I think, a little bit of a different connotation with that. But, I think there's three areas that are really important right now. And this is not just for bankers. This is for service providers, business owners, or those that are in sales in a multitude of professions. I think three things are important, probably in this order. One is it's about really managing the money, managing our own money, because we're kind of concerned about what's going on in our own world, but also knowing that that's the quandary that people are in and out of banking is their own money. Are they furloughed? Are they have they been let go? Right, or laid off, or is their business just simply down, right? So that's the first thing that we could focus on is helping people to at least think about best case scenario, worst case scenario, and most likely scenario as it relates to their own financial situation. That's the first thing. Second thing is to manage your connections. Who are the 50, 60, 70 most important people as a banker that are most important to your business world? Are you linked in with them? And if not, should you be calling them, emailing them, reaching out to them? Like, who are the 50 most influential for a multitude of reasons? Some might be prospects, many might be clients, many might be referral partners, but who are your top 50 or so? And then the third, and kind of my favorite, and really kind of underscores this whole thing, Ned, is being of massive service to people. Like, how can you be of massive service, right? And that's just simply asking, what can I do to help? Tell me what I can do. I'm not here to sell you anything. What can I help you with? What questions can I answer? Can I make an introduction for you? Is there information that I can provide? Just be of absolute, just massive service to people. If we can just focus on those three things, then the questions that we might ask people as a banker, I think, start to become more obvious, because now it's not about the sell, it's about the serve.